Have you ever wished you could just get inside the minds of ancient thinkers? Not through layers of interpretation, but like hear directly from them. Their own words, their real experiences. Well, today that's kind of what we're attempting. We're doing a deep dive into a part of the Thera called Tika-nipāta. Now, these aren't just dusty old verses. They're powerful poems, really, from early Buddhist elders. We're talking enlightened monks sharing their journeys, their struggles, their breakthroughs. It's pretty unique.
It really is. And what's so compelling is that these aren't, abstract theories. They're raw, first-person stories of transformation. It's like getting a direct window into the practical side of spiritual growth thousands of years ago, the real challenges they faced.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack these verses. They're short, but dense with meaning. We want to pull out those timeless bits of wisdom about perseverance, living with integrity, finding inner peace, even the nature of reality itself. Think of it as a shortcut, maybe, to getting well-informed on this fascinating slice of ancient thought. And you'll see, I think, that even though they're ancient, these are fundamentally human stories. Very relatable. So let's start there. What does it actually take to really transform yourself? Especially if maybe your starting point isn't quite on the right track.
That's a great question, and it leads us straight to Aṅgaṇikabhāradvājo. His story begins with him in the forest, serving fire. He's genuinely seeking purity, ayonisukti, but the text implies he didn't have the right understanding initially. Misguided effort, maybe.
Okay. So he's sincere, but maybe a bit off base.
Exactly. But here's the interesting part. He commits to this intense penance, amartapa. And even that sort of misdirected intensity led him to attain the three knowledges.
The three knowledges, that's major, right?
Yeah.
Remembering past lives, seeing future destinies, and knowing how to end defilements.
Precisely. A profound awakening. He fulfilled the Buddhist teaching even from that starting point.
Wow. Okay, that's already quite something. But it doesn't stop there, does it?
Not at all. He gets ordained, and just 5 days later, he makes this incredibly dramatic vow. He basically says, I won't eat, I won't drink, I won't leave the monastery, I won't even lie down. The text literally says, not drop my gaze until this dart of craving is gone.
That is intense, unbelievably focused.
Utterly. And the result, again, he attains the three knowledges fully. Completely fulfills the teaching. And you see this profound shift in identity. He goes from being a Brahma Bandhu, just related to Brahmins by birth, to a true Brahmano, meaning someone who embodies the qualities. Divyo, master of those knowledges, Nihako, purified, and Sotyo Vedagu, deeply learned. It's earned, not inherited.
That level of commitment is just hard to wrap your head around sometimes. But it really highlights confronting those inner obstacles, doesn't it? How can we connect with that kind of resolve in our own lives, even without being a monk?
Well, I think the core message is about that unwavering intention, that radical honesty. It's about deciding this needs to change and facing it. And it's not just about physical hardship. Sometimes the hardest part is admitting the struggle itself, like we see with Bākulathero.
Ah, yes. His confession is quite striking.
It really is. He's described as wise and thoughtful, but he straight up admits the 5 sense pleasures deluded him, made him stumble.
He uses that powerful image, doesn't he? Being caught in Mara's realm.
Yes, pierced by a strong dart. Mara being, temptation, illusion, the forces that bind us.
So it shows just how powerful those inner conflicts, those desires can be.
Absolutely. But importantly, he also shows the way out. He says he managed to escape the snare of the king of death. He abandoned desires, shattered the patterns of existence, ended the whole cycle.
So pulling this together, these elders show us transformation needs incredible resolve, yes, but also that kind of brutal honesty about our own stuff. It's about facing the darts, not pretending they aren't there.
Exactly. Acknowledging the struggle is the first step towards overcoming it.
Okay, so moving from that deep personal work, what about guidance for just, living day to day? Making good choices.
Yeah, there's a lot of practical wisdom, too. Paccayo has some really sharp points. There's the classic warning about procrastination. He who wishes to do later what should be done first falls from a pleasant state and repents later.
Huh. Sounds familiar. Could be on a productivity blog today.
Totally timeless. And then there's this powerful bit about integrity. What one does, one should say. What one does not do, one should not say.
Aligning words and action.
Right. Because, as he says, the wise despise one who speaks but does not act. It's about authenticity, trust. Hypocrisy is seen for what it is.
That really resonates. And he also mentions Nirvana, right?
He does. A beautiful description. True happiness, sorrowless, dustless, safe, where suffering ceases. And it's interesting that exact verse pops up again later, attributed to Thero, shows how central that idea was.
So do it now. Be authentic. Powerful stuff. But in our world, always pushing for more, what about simplicity? Contentment.
Bākulathero speaks directly to that, especially for renunciates, but the principles apply, I think. He talks about not disrespecting shared things, robes, food, drink. It's about mindful consumption, community respect.
Okay. Being conscious of resources.
And embracing simplicity. Simple dwellings, like a snake's or mouse's hole. The core advice: be content with whatever, itaratarina tuseya, don't always need more, and focus. Cultivate one single dharma, Aṅgaṇikabhāradvājo. Find your core practice or principle and stick to it.
I really like that. Content with whatever. It feels almost revolutionary today. But being content when things are tough, that requires resilience, doesn't it? What about facing discomfort?
Oh, definitely. And Bākulathero tackles that head on. He calls out people making excuses, too cold, too hot, too late, letting good moments slip away.
We've all been there.
Right. But he praises the person who just gets on with it, who sees cold and heat as no more than a blade of grass while doing their duty. That person, he says, stays happy.
So don't let circumstances derail you.
Exactly. And he gives this vivid image of himself literally clearing thorny grass with his chest to create a space for solitude, for vivekam anugrahayan.
Wow. Physical effort for mental clarity, clearing the path.
It's a powerful metaphor for pushing through obstacles.
Okay, and what about fundamental ethics? How we treat others?
Bākulathero offers some very clear guidance there. Harming other living beings. The consequence is stark. You fall from this world and the next.
Cause and effect, plain and simple.
But conversely, immense merit comes from compassion, from pitying all beings with a mind of loving kindness.
Metta, loving kindness.
Yes. And for mental calm, his advice is practical. Learn good speech, attendance on monastics, secluded sitting, and calming the mind. Actionable steps.
Things you can actually do. And what about community? We don't usually do this stuff in a vacuum.
True. Bākulathero has wisdom specifically for newcomers, but it's relevant for all. He stresses associating with noble friends who are pure-lived and diligent. Good influences are key.
Your environment matters.
Definitely. And learning the discipline, the Vinaya within the Sangha, the community, and developing skill in knowing what is proper and improper, but acting without expectation, apurakato.
Acting rightly, but without attachment to the outcome.
Precisely. Doing the right thing for its own sake.
It really is a holistic picture, isn't it? How you act, how you think, how you relate to others, how you find contentment. It all fits together.
It does. It's a very complete framework for mindful living.
All right, let's widen the lens now to the really big picture stuff. What do these elders say about existence itself, our place in the cosmos, the deep questions?
This is where we get into some profound territory. Avikito, who's also called Gautamathero, gives this incredible cosmic perspective. He talks about remembering vast stretches of past lives. He says he went to hell, ghost world repeatedly, spent ages in animal forms, human lives, different heavens, even formless realms.
Just an unbelievable scope of experience across lifetimes. What did he learn from all that? What was the takeaway?
The big aha moment. He saw that all these states of existence are fundamentally unsubstantial, asaraka. They're conditioned, sahata, meaning they arise based on causes. They're unstable, pakalita, always changing, constantly arising, sadarita.
So the core insight is radical impermanence, nothing solid anywhere.
Exactly. Not just that things change, but that there's no permanent thing there to change. It's all process. And realizing this about his own existence, this endless stream of rebirths, led him to attain peace with mindfulness. Understanding impermanence was the key to freedom.
That deep understanding, it must create a sense of urgency, right? If everything is fleeting and involves suffering.
Absolutely. You see that urgency powerfully in Bākulathero's verses. He just states it flatly. Repeated birth is suffering. Full stop.
No mincing words there.
None. And he pleads with his relatives and by extension with us. Strive. Go forth. Apply yourselves to the Buddha's teaching. His imagery is strong. Shake off Mara's army like an elephant shakes off a reed house.
Wow. So get serious about the path.
Yes. Because the promise is there.
Oh.
Diligence leads to abandoning that cycle, to ending suffering. It's a call to action born from deep understanding.
Now, what if you're the only one in your family, say, who's on this kind of path? Can one person make a difference?
Bākulathero addresses this beautifully. He says even one faithful, wise person among others who aren't can be a huge benefit if they live righteously.
So your own practice can positively affect others, even if they don't share it.
It seems so. He encouraged his relatives to give gifts to monks, and he speaks of his deceased mother and brothers who had made those offerings, attaining heavenly happiness and rejoicing.
That's a comforting thought. The positive ripples of one person's virtue.
It is. It suggests our actions have effects beyond our immediate perception.
Okay, so if we're really serious about this deep practice, what kind of environment helps? Solitude. Community.
Bākulathero offers a fascinating, maybe even challenging perspective here. First, he paints this picture of a monk in the deep forest, enduring flies, mosquitoes. Mindful, focused like an elephant in battle, real solitary effort.
Right, the image of focused endurance.
But then he makes this striking observation. Like Brahma, one is alone. Like a god, two. Like a village, three. Beyond that is chaos.
Chaos beyond three, that's surprising. What's the thinking there? Is it just about literal noise?
It seems to be more about the internal focus required for deep practice. One means total solitude. Two allows for perhaps a teacher-student dynamic or close companions. Three might be a small, focused group. But beyond that, the implication is that the social dynamics, the complexities, the distractions, they create a kind of chaos that hinders that deep, solitary concentration needed for breakthrough.
Interesting. It suggests a limit to effective group size for certain kinds of deep work.
It does imply an optimal condition for minimizing distraction and maximizing inner quiet.
And finally, let's touch on faith. We often think of it as this solid bedrock. Is it always?
Bākulathero offers a more nuanced, perhaps more realistic view. Someone apparently asks him, your faith was there before, but it's not present today. A direct challenge.
Yeah. How does he respond to that?
With this calm, detached wisdom, he basically says, faith is impermanent and wavering. People get attached and unattached. What is there for the sage to worry about?
So, he acknowledges that feelings like faith can fluctuate.
Exactly. And his response isn't worry, but acceptance of that impermanence. He just carries on with his practice, wandering for alms. It suggests true stability comes not from clinging to a feeling, but from understanding the nature of feelings themselves, that they arise and pass away.
It really brings it all together, doesn't it? From that initial radical commitment through daily conduct, community influence, understanding reality, right down to the nature of faith itself. It's a whole worldview.
It truly is a complete tapestry woven from these individual voices and experiences.
Oh, okay. What an incredible journey through these verses today. We've seen that fierce commitment of Aṅgaṇikabhāradvājo and Upali, then the really grounded, practical advice from Paccayo, Bakulo, Danyo, Kujasopito, Saikmatyo, useful stuff for anyone. And finally, those vast, deep insights into existence from Abhiputo Gautama, Uttarapalo, Varanto, Pasiko, and Yasojathero. Just mind-expanding.
And the amazing thing is, this isn't just history, it feels alive. It's wisdom that still speaks directly to our challenges today, how to find peace, how to act with integrity, how to understand this confusing world. Those aha moments still land thousands of years later.
They really do. So here's a final thought for you to chew on, connecting back to Bākulathero. If he observed that for deep spiritual focus, beyond three is chaos, what does that suggest about our modern lives? You know, this constant connection, the endless information streams, the social media buzz. How might we consciously create those moments of secluded sitting he mentioned, or identify that one single dharma, that core focus Bākula advised, to find some clarity and peace amidst all the noise? Something to think about.